And with that, we are live with another episode of the podcast. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
And we are, Matt, we are in, we keep ending up in amazing spaces.
We really kind of do.
The last 4 episodes, we've been in just an amazing space. And once again, today, in an amazing space, we revisited from where we were last night, just being social.
Yeah.
And we found ourselves in Joe Louis Southern Kitchen.
We are, I don't even feel like I'm in Detroit.
No, I mean,
I feel
I'm in
like
a
I'm down
backyard
south somewhere.
it's astounding. It's his patio party. It's just simply amazing. We're in the heart of the city.
Yes.
Just steps away from the Fisher Building in the New Center area.
Literally steps, yes.
And it's the grand opening. They're laying out the red ribbon for a cutting.
Yes.
And with us, Matt, who do we have with us?
We have a gentleman by the name of Louis Barrow Jr. and one of his business partners,
Eduardo Diaz.
Eduardo Diaz.
We have been blessed to meet some amazing people in this adventure that we do, this podcasting thing that we do. And JoJo, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. It's weird to be here and actually be in Detroit, but
in person, because all last summer we had a ton of fun with Joe Louis Bourbon. We were getting ready for a big launch and a big party, and then the world kind of closed its doors, and so we started doing all these virtual happy hours, and you were able to join us 3-4 times over the summer while we did the Joe Louis Bourbon happy hours. And we were just waiting for the restaurant to open. So now that things are opening back up, we're here for the grand opening, and thank you for having us out. Tell us a story about Eduardo. You guys, how did you guys get together on this project, and whose brainchild was it?
it was my brainchild, but he's got to tell the story about how we met.
All right, how did you guys get connected, Eduardo?
It was actually kind of a crazy story.
Yeah.
This is about 12 years ago we met, and the way we met was I was networking with a group of individuals, and one of them invited me to a dinner. I sat next to Joe, and this guy was really kind of a crazy sort of, I want to say huckster, but not really. He's just a really colorful character. Really,
I like the word animated. Is that
fair? Larger than life.
Huckster is better.
Larger than life. And so he invites all of these people. So he invited me because he told me that Joe wanted to meet me, right? But he did that with like 30 people. So he told everybody that somebody else wanted to meet them. And it was a room full of like 30 people. The guy starts ordering, from the time we get there, the guy starts ordering tray of food and all kinds of wine and booze. And about halfway through the event, you look around and he's not there. He slipped out the back door and left everybody basically with the bill, because he told everybody that he was going to pay. And the bill comes, it's like a $2,500 bill, and he slipped out the back door. And that's
So we're back to Huxley.
The funny thing was that was how we met, because I wanted to build a restaurant.
Okay.
And the gentleman who had brought us together, he brought us into a restaurant that we thought was one of the people who was at the meeting's restaurant that he had built. But really, the guy was helping another friend who didn't even know the guy who brought us all together, so he wasn't even the owner of the restaurant. So the guy is ordering all this food on not his restaurant, his friend's restaurant, based on the notion that everyone there is there to meet someone who can help their project forward. So everybody had a project. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I had no money. And it's like, well, I can give you a ride home. But the one thing that I remember more than anything else was Ed didn't end up paying the bill. But what he did is he looked at the check and he gave the waiter his credit card and he said, "I want to take care of the tip." And that was when I knew that this is a good guy. And that's how we met.
It was a crazy. I'll never forget that day.
I love it. So how long have you been incubating the idea for the Southern Kitchen?
So from the very beginning, I wanted to do a restaurant. I I think every little kid wants to either be in the nightclub business or in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in the restaurant business because there is a through line through, I think, every person's life that somehow connects to food. It is where we celebrate, it's where we mourn, it's where we commiserate. It is how we as a community connect to our families. And I thought, there's no better way to touch people's lives than to be a part of creating their memories. And I'll go back to Vegas and I'll drive down West Flamingo Road, and there used to be this Chinese restaurant called Minnie Wu's 2000, and my mother and my father loved it. It's now a bank.
Oh boy! But
whenever I drive by, I think about all of the crazy nights that we had there, all of the late nights, and that is a testament to the food and to the memories. And so I thought that this is a business I want to be in. And then, of course, it was about finding the right partners, and what better city than New York or Las Vegas or Detroit. And what it came down to is, how do I make a choice of where to go first? And then I thought, you know what? Let's just do it in chronological order.
Okay.
So we started here, and I cannot begin to tell you how much the finished product resembles the dream. It's like,
It's
like restaurant life.
And I wanted to ask the concept, the murals and the picket fences and the patio and everything.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Was this all from your brain itself?
It is from my little brain. It's a little brain. It's a very small brain.
Oh, stop.
But every now and then it comes up with a good idea. Growing up, my happiest memories are literally not my father's mother, but my father was very close to my mother's mother. And we would spend so much time at my grandmother's house. My mother had bought my grandmother eggs in West Hollywood, California, and on both sides of the duplex there's a porch. And so my mother would be in the kitchen with my grandmother and Altavis Davis and later Barbara Sinatra, and out on the porch in this very modest, normal neighborhood would be my father and Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and Uncle Dean, and they would all be playing. They'd be playing pinochle or whatever, and I'd be running. My mother would have a wooden spoon. I mean, it's so right out of Norman Rockwell that it's kind of crazy. And so I thought, why not recreate an environment in which people always feel at home? And so that's really the significance of the porch. The other thing is that this restaurant is only successful if we can put out 50% more energy and effort to the community than we take in.
That's a brilliant. That in my mind is brilliant.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah,
it's so important. It's so we're right next to a university. We're open from 7 to 3, which allows us to be a part of that community and help them to finance their education. I do believe that education is a right, not a privilege, and I think it should be free. But as long as it's not, I guess I want to be as much a part of that solution as I can be. The other thing is that working mothers are the backbone of America. They are far harder working than men will ever be. They are more ingenuitive, and they are more responsible for what we turn out in our society as far as our future. And so by being open from 7 to 3, that working mother who really doesn't have the support she needs can be home in time to get her kids back from school. So I think there's been a lot of thought put into this restaurant. I'm gonna let Eduardo talk, because not only would I not be here, I would have starved. I would have literally starved had it not been for him. So.
Eduardo, what is something in the design here that someone coming in, you're wowed by so many things in the building. If people aren't watching the audio version listening to the audio version, you want to check out the video on YouTube. But what element in here might someone not notice that you guys are taking pride in?
Well, I'll tell you, I think we take pride in almost every element.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
Really, from the colors to the pictures to the design, everything was a process.
Yeah.
I think.
Are there any hidden Easter eggs or gems in here that someone might not notice, but you should really look for?
I think if you look around, you'll see that we tried hard to put little things around that will remind people about Joe Louis's life and his achievements. Right. So from the boxing gloves to the boxing bag to some of the if you look on the kind of in the back there where there's that like counter, right? The counter has mementos about Joe Louis's life.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So if you look on the countertop, there's like one of his boxing cards.
Oh.
So it's small touches like that.
Okay.
Really, what we wanted to do is we wanted to pull people into his life and into so sort of understand the achievements and sort of the great man that Joe Louis was.
Yeah, because this really speaks to family. I mean, when you come into this restaurant, it's like this is a family gathering, and it's like, oh, there's some boxing touches here and there. It's not like a boxing place because you see Joe Louis and you think boxing, but when you come into this restaurant, the feeling I get is family,
and that's actually that was on purpose, and the reason being is that I think a lot of people associate Joe Louis with boxing, and they're right to do so. Yeah. Right? I mean, he was a great boxer, but I think he was much, much more than a boxer. Right? I mean, he was an American hero. He served in the military. He was the first African American to play on the PGA Tour. I mean, just there's so many things to learn about Joe Louis, the man, that transcend boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get an arena named after you for nothing, right?
So, and you're lending the name to the restaurant, and you guys are in control of that.
The interesting thing about this is that right about the time I met Eduardo, I told my agent, I'm not doing licensing deals anymore. And so they're all but non-existent in the Joe Louis world. If we're in it, we're partners in it. I don't believe that licensing represents the artist or the athlete in the way that it needs to. For a lot of reasons, primarily because what a brand is today is not necessarily what a brand will be tomorrow. And so although when the deal initiates, they may be in sync, things can transpire over time that stay with the initial association that does not any longer represent the brand. And so if my father's name's on it, okay, you can be sure that the family is benefiting financially in the way it needs to, but creatively, completely.
Nice.
There is not going to be a time ever again in which my father is taken advantage of in the ways that were allowed to happen, not just to him, but to many, many, many Black artists over time.
Right.
That will not happen again. And it's quite a difficult thing to achieve because I have his heart. Like I like everybody. So I needed some partners. Like let me just tell you something. Yeah. My partner Ty is all about the business. My partner Keith is probably one of the best set designers in the country. He does things for everybody, from Tyler Perry to my cousin Angela. Eduardo's a lawyer, which God knows everyone needs one. They may not like them till they need them, but when they need them, they really need them. And Johnny is just a maestro of front of the house and back of the house. So he knows how to do that. And so I've pulled together a team that not only protects me, but it has. I don't have to micromanage. I don't have to worry about. They have made my aspirations and my dream my own, which allows me. When you think about people in your life that help you, you then also have to start thinking about what do you owe them in return. And I always got everything. And then I have the most amazing life partner at home who's had his own struggles and who still gets out and lets me do what I love. So I'm really, really lucky. Yeah. I'm really lucky, and I'm blessed. And then the last person I want to talk about is, there are certain people who are responsible for my father's legacy remaining alive in Detroit. And Dr. Kirschenbaum has, oh my God, he has single-handedly kind of been the band leader, the band, the football player, everybody. And I'm incredibly blessed. And so it doesn't shock me that the dream so much resembles the reality, but it does amaze me because not a lot of people get this lucky.
Right. It's just, your space, the representation of your father and the legacy that he has and is still leaving behind today. It's just a beautiful way to represent your father. I cannot thank you enough for all of the work that you all do to make that happen.
The Joe Louis Arena, right? Yeah. So it's gone now. Because over the summer when we had you on, Richard Lane, and you guys were buddies. He said, and you guys were talking about you were kids in the limo going to the dedication of Joe Louis Arena. And it's like, whoever thought it would be gone, right? And how did that hit the family when you knew it's like, oh, they're going to take down the arena?
Well, I never. So first of all, I first heard about it when a community activist reached out to me on Facebook. And I want to tell you, I wouldn't be here without her. She was here last night, and I told everyone who would listen, this woman is responsible for me being here. Because she said, she was like, she called me up. I don't know how she got my phone number. I have no idea. I answered the phone. I said, hello. She said, is this Joe Louis Barrow Jr., Joe Louis' son? I'm like, I don't usually answer that.
Do I owe you money?
For some reason I said it is. And she said, they are trying to take your father's name off of everything in Detroit. They're going to make sure that he was never, ever here. And I said, I thought she was crazy. I was like, listen, you're crazy. Yeah. Then I tried to do that. But she said, oh, they are. We got a new white mayor, and he want to take everything off. He wants to destroy everything. Oh, no. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you got to say it. You're going to say it. You're going to say it. Only you can do it. I said, listen, well, I'll come to Detroit. But here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to twist the arm of the city to keep something, because their goal is to keep the Brewster Community Center, the Brewster Wheeler. So Brewster Wheeler Center, Community Center. But the city's take on this wasn't, it didn't want to save the building. Mm-hmm. It was that the environment had changed. Right. What was once a bustling project that had lots and lots of kids to service was now really, Metro Detroit with not a whole lot. And so, the city's goal was to save it, not to take my father, not to demolish it. But oftentimes when people love things, fear happens before fact. And so they rushed in to try and save it when really all you had to do is work with the city to try and figure out a way to keep it.
Well, and now they got the new Greenway coming in, and it's the Joe Louis Greenway, which I think is more, it speaks about more where Detroit is going.
I think the Greenway is going to be, I think the Greenway, as it connects community after community, will be here long after any physical structure could be, just because it's just the way it's going to turn out. And so I don't think there's any better way to to cement the legacy of my father with the city and the Greenway, because the truth is the Greenway is going to touch family after family after family after family.
Yes.
Right.
And so, in a way that the arena can't. Now, what I will say about the arena is that an awful lot of world champion teams, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Came through there.
Came through that. It's the most successful hockey arena of all time.
Yeah.
There have been more championship teams there than anywhere else. And what that means is there have been more family memories created.
Right.
You know, but that again, people will drive by, they'll get off the lodge, and you know what will happen? They'll say, there used to be, and they'll start talking, and they'll remember, and they'll tear up like me if they're a sucker, and then they'll march on one foot after the next to their own place in history.
And the fist, the statue, the fist out there. Anytime Detroit is, anything mentioned, any sports cast, there's always a shot of the fist. There's always that's a national recognition again and again, and I'm glad that's there and not going anywhere.
I think the fist most represents Detroit's never give up spirit. I really do. I think it is the never. I honestly, people ask me, why do I think my father's relationship with Detroit has lasted? Because my father was a person through all his life had great successes, and then he also had his own troubles. But he never ever considered quitting. And I think that is the essence of Detroit. Detroit just doesn't quit.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
It's just Detroit never does give up. And
They just don't. It doesn't. And you know what? And it continues to prove why, it is such an integral part of the success of America.
Yeah.
So for those of you who've never been,
You got to do it.
the street lights are all on.
And there's a fabulous new restaurant. We had the food last night. The food was amazing. That jambalaya with the turkey leg in it blew my mind. The food was so good.
The mac and cheese Cajun turkey leg. I'm still full from last night. I really am.
It is so good. So I know you have a ton of other things. You got a ribbon cutting. The mayor, that mayor's coming in here to cut the ribbon. So we're gonna let you. We got more to talk about. We'll get you on the podcast again.
Thank you so much.
We'll stream you in from New York when you guys get back to the city. We appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with us. And like I said, good luck with the restaurant, the first of many, I hope.
Congratulations.
And, congratulations,
Thank
gentlemen.
you so much for all the love and support. And I'm a huge fan. So I'm always listening, even if I'm doing 1,000 other things. So
Thank you.
for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.